I believe that the month of September is going to be one of the most important months in crypto history, especially this year. And I expect that what we see from September is going to have a massive impact on crypto for the rest of this year and probably going into next year. And so in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly why September is so important and the 5 things that I am doing to prepare for September, as today is, of course, the last day of August. Now, before we get into that, we are going to recap August a little bit. We're going to talk about what happened and how it's setting us up for September, and much more. So we have a good bit to get into today, my friends. But before we do not forget that if you are trading any of these cryptos, Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, XRP, any of them, you can check out the link to BTCC down below. And if you start trading today with my link, you're going to get up to $10,000 in bonuses and lower trading fees. You guys know this is where I do the vast majority of my trading. So of course, be careful. Leverage trading can be dangerous, but if you know what you're doing, check out the link down below and check it out. But as I mentioned before, let's recap August a little bit. Let's talk about what's been going on in the month of August, because it was an interesting month to say the least. So the month of August, if I had to describe it just with a couple words, is the month of altcoins. I think August was the first month that we saw altcoins really outperform Bitcoin. And if you're not paying attention to the charts, you actually may not think that's the truth. You might think that everything was just kind of down, but that's not the case. Matter of fact, let me just show you. So if we go look at how things have performed over the last month, what you're going to see is a red line on these charts, okay? You see this red line? This red line is the first day of August. And from the first day of August, this is the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin's price had a nice little rally all the way up to 124K before nuking back down and creating a new lower low, as you can see here, as it is now currently right here down at $108,000. Now, in the same time frame that Bitcoin created this high, then a lower low, let's look at what Total 2 did. Total 2, which is the total market cap of altcoins, absolutely sent it. I mean, this bad boy since the 1st of August is up, and it's not up just a little bit. It's actually up a lot. It is actually up, 10%. Which is a crazy move. I mean, we're talking about a $1.5 trillion market cap, asset class, up 10% at the same time that the key crypto of this entire asset class is down. How much is Bitcoin down? Let's go look. Let's just kind of compare the two real quick. Bitcoin is down 6%. There's a 16% differential there. That's massive. I mean, it's absolutely massive. Look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance has just plummeted over the last month. Bitcoin dominance is now down 6.8% in the last month, as the altcoin market has now taken some sort of control of the market. Now, are we in a full-blown altcoin season? No, I wouldn't go ahead and say so. And you can kind of look at altcoin season index. We're not in altcoin season, but we're much closer than we were. And people have been very reluctant to say this, but the truth is altcoins have been in their own little phase, this little altcoin period, for a couple months now. And I made a video like 3 months ago. I said, guys, we are entering into some sort of altcoin season, not the mythical 2021 altcoin season, but a form of an altcoin season. And I believe that from a macro sense, altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin in the grand scheme of things. And that is exactly what has been happening. It may not feel like it because alts aren't just absolutely rallying, but it is the case. Altcoins have been outperforming Bitcoin since June. It's just what they've been doing. Now, whenever we look at last month, you can see some of those standouts. ETH, although a smaller bubble here, this is a massive bubble because it's up 22.5% in the last month, currently at a $538 billion market cap, which is just absolute insanity for it to go up 22% in a month where Bitcoin's down. Insane. And that has led many other cryptos and many other altcoins to perform well. OKB, Pyth, MNT, Crow, Arrow. I mean, these things are smashing it. OKB itself is up 5 spots just in the last month, now at a $3.6 billion market cap, at the same time that Crow jumped up into the top 20, pushing over a $10 billion market cap at one point. I mean, this was a fantastic month for these alts, but of course, just not all alts, right? You look at Ton, XLM, XRP, Pepe, Trump, Pingu, Sui. Many of these ones haven't performed that great. I will grant that. That is true. But for the altcoin market as a whole, the altcoin market as a whole outperformed, and it did extremely well in the month of August, absolutely smashing upwards and putting in some very strong moves. Now, that leads us into September, because going into September, I think that things are going to probably get, this was a crazy month for crypto, I would say. I think things are about to get much crazier. I think September may be one of the most volatile months that crypto has seen in a very long time. And I know that's a bold statement, but I do believe it. Now, the reason I believe it is because it's very uncommon for there to be something looming, a massive moment, a day, an hour looming that is not only going to impact crypto, but it is going to impact the whole world. Something that people are holding their breath for, that they're sitting back on the edge of their chair, just grabbing the handle, just waiting for. It's very uncommon that happens. Sure, there may be exciting moments. For example, Like the presidential election is kind of one of them. Much bigger. That's much bigger than what I'm going to tell you about, right? But the presidential election is kind of an example of something that everyone is just watching and waiting. What's going to happen, right? These sort of moments don't happen very often. And we have one of those moments coming in September whenever it comes to interest rate cuts. Now, you may say, Tyler, there's been FOMC meetings every single month of this year. Like, this is not a big moment. That's not true. This is the most important one. And the reason why this FOMC meeting that we're going to see in just about a couple weeks now, about 2 weeks now, the reason why this is the most important one is because this is the first time that this market, stocks and crypto, has expected interest rates to start being cut. There were thoughts that it might happen. There were ideas that it could happen, but no one truly fully expected that interest rate cuts were happening until this one. And as a result of people thinking that they're going to happen, it's caused a lot of this market to move in crazy ways. We've seen big pumps. We've seen the market rally. We've seen some interesting movements here from stocks and from crypto as a result of people expecting those interest rate cuts. And any time, any moment that there's bad news or good news that will involve the FOMC, you're going to see this market either pump or dump like crazy. Think about the last week. People were, whenever we got some data coming out, the market would rally, then it would dump, then it would rally, then it would dump. I mean, Bitcoin's been all over the place. The stock market, interestingly, has been all over the place because anytime that anyone gets a shift in their mindset of whether or not interest rates are going to be cut, this market just absolutely nukes or pumps in one direction or another. And I think the closer we get to the FOMC meeting, which is on September 15th and 16th, I believe that that is going to cause this market to go crazy. I think it's going to be mayhem. I think people are going to be getting liquidated on all sides of the coin. So with that, going into September, I actually do expect it to be one of the most volatile months that we've seen in crypto this year. Now, there is a narrative out there where everyone's saying September just has to be a red month, right? And they say based on historical performative data that September has to be a red month. In the 4-year cycle, this year is the red year or the red month for September, right? Let's just go look at it because there is truth to this, right? Let me go find it. Where were we? Let's see. It's one of these. Give me a second. You guys know I can't see too good. This one. Okay. So this is for Bitcoin's monthly returns. Okay. And what we can see is that September, let's go look at the last 4 years. So that would be 2021, 2017, 2013. Let's go look at this. Okay. So September 2021, red month. 2017, red month. 2013, red month. So every 4 years in September, in this little pattern, it is red. That is true. And so because of that, everyone's saying, okay, well, September has to be a red month. And again, I understand the sentiment there, but let me show you why that just does not make sense. Okay, let me just show you why that doesn't make sense. And we have a very good example of that right now. So let's look at August in the same exact time frame. 2013, green month. 2017, green month. 2021, green month. What happened in 2025? The first red month. So this month, unless Bitcoin just pumped 7% today, this month was an example of that 4-year cycle breaking, the 4-year pattern breaking. And so why could you say that next month has to be a certain way if this month wasn't that way? That does not make sense to me. So everyone who's going into September just betting, oh, the market has to go down, I think they could be setting themselves up for failure. And you are seeing that represented on the liquidation map. Look at Bitcoin's 30-day liquidations. Everyone is betting that Bitcoin's going to go down. There's $17 billion on the 30-day liquidations for $18 billion. That Bitcoin's going to just go down in comparison to the bottom side of 3.7 billion. I mean, there's a 5x, 6x differential there. It's insanity. Most people who are leverage trading Bitcoin right now are betting that it's going to go down. And a lot of this is due to the fact that people believe that September has to be a bad month based on historical performative data. But the case is August was always green until this month. On this 4 years, every 4 years back from 2025. So again, 2021, 2017, 2013, it was always a green month. And then it just wasn't this month. So why can't this always red month be a green month this month? I don't know. I'm not saying it will be. I'm just saying it can be. And so I don't kind of group myself in with this crowd that thinks September just has to be a red month because it always is a red month. I don't think that makes sense. It annoys me, honestly. And so I would actually say that everyone thinking that Bitcoin's going to have a red month this month, that it's going to go down this month, and people showing that by betting big that it's going to go down is a good thing for those of you who want it to go up. I actually think it makes it more likely that Bitcoin has a green month than it does a red month. And I think Bitcoin having a good month is only going to amplify the growth we've seen from altcoins recently, right? So you know how altcoins have been doing pretty good this month, but they haven't done great? I think they haven't done great because Bitcoin is going down. I think if you put altcoins in an environment in which Bitcoin is pumping, it's going to make altcoins just pump more. I don't think it'll flip-flop where, Bitcoin pumps and alts dump. No, like this month, but flip-flop. I think it'll be Bitcoin pumps and altcoins pump more. And so what this tells me is September might be a shocker month. It might be a month that is much better than people are expecting because everyone's expecting it to be a bad month based on stupid reasons, in my opinion. Now, sure. The case of the matter and the truth of the matter here is, yeah, Jerome Powell might just come out and he might say, hey, we're not cutting interest rates today. We're not cutting interest rates this year. I ain't cutting interest rates till somebody kicks me out this chair. Might say that. He won't, but he might. And guess what? That is going to plummet the market. That is going to make the market fall. But how long will that last? No one knows. It literally could last 3 days. It might just dump for 3 days and then send it to the upside for absolutely no reason, right? So don't try to predict what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. Don't even try to bet on it, in my opinion. Just let it happen. That's what I told people with the presidential election. I said, you think you know what's going to happen with the presidential election? You don't know what's going to happen with the presidential election. Don't try to guess. Don't try to predict. Just let it play out and then make your move, right? It's easy to know what move to make once you know the decision. And those people who say, for example, like, oh, Trump's in, this is good for the market from a macro perspective for crypto specifically, we're going to go long on it. Trump won and market actually fell a little bit. Then it rallied. But people took it into consideration, responded with strategy, and then boom. Long trades. That's what we did here. Open some long trades. Market absolutely ran. We made a bunch of money because we just waited for the decision. But you know what would have happened? Had I tried to leverage trade a whole bunch leading up to Trump's election, I'd have lost a lot because the market was like just doing all this in anticipation of that decision. And that's what I think September is going to hold. A lot of volatility and chop in anticipation of this decision that is going to liquidate a lot of people on both sides. Okay. So I think September is going to be one of the craziest months. I think people are going to get liquidated everywhere. And I think the worst thing you can do right now is play the game. Don't play the game right now. You're going to probably lose. Okay. So what am I doing? Well, I'm doing 5 things. Okay, these are the 3, or I put 3, but I added 2 more. These are the 5 things I'm doing going into September. Prepare yourself emotionally is the biggest one. Okay, you have to lock in right now. You have to lock in. I think shit's going to get crazy. Lock in and be ready for it. Best I can tell you to do. Second, reduce leverage. I genuinely think it's a good idea right now to reduce leverage unless you have the highest conviction on earth. Like you have to be 100% set in stone that you're going to be doing this. I think just reducing leverage is the best thing to do. For example, this is a tiny example because this is a tiny little trade, but let me show you what I did. So as many of you know, I recently opened up a Solana short trade. I opened up a short trade on Solana right here because I thought, okay, well, we're at the top side of an ascending triangle, a rising triangle. These things have a history of breaking down. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take profit. So I sold some of my long-term bag of Solana up here. I sold about $900 or $850 worth roughly. I took $850 of profit right here. I took 10% of that profit, which was $85, and I opened up a long trade or a short trade, a leveraged short trade on Solana right here to hedge against my bag. So it's like, okay, take some profits, use 10% of that profit to open a short trade to see if I can catch it to the downside. Because if it does start to pull back, I can use the profit from the short trade to reinvest back into my long bag, and then we can ride that puppy upwards. That's the strategy. So that's exactly what I did. And it actually started working out pretty dang on well. Let me actually head over to the Discord real quick. Let's go here. Here we go. Yeah. So as you can see, I opened up that short trade. I don't know what day that was. I think it was the 27th. Yep. Okay, so it was on the 27th. Boom. We went in. And what happened? Well, the bad boy actually started performing pretty dang well. We were up like 50%. Yeah, we were up 50%. Again, tiny little trade. It wasn't a huge trade, only $85 trade. Tiny little trade. But we were up 50% on it because we were on 10x leverage as that bad boy started to pull back, right? As we started to see Solana's price pulling back to the downside. Now, going into September, knowing that I want to reduce my leverage a little bit, you know what I did yesterday? I went in and I just took profits. I took out my initial investment, sorry. So I put in $85 right here on the trade. This bad boy was up 50%. So it was up, say, it was at like $120. I pulled all $80 that I put in back out and just left the profit to ride. And so if I head over to BTCC, you can see it, right? So my margin is now just the profit. So if I lose on this trade now, I don't care. It is no big deal. I put nothing in. I got all my profit from my take profit back out. Now this short trade is riding on profit. I reduced my leverage. So it doesn't mean you literally have to go from 10x to 5x. You could just reduce the risk that you have in your trades. So now I have no initial investment. I'm just full on profit. And if this bad boy does pull back, guess what? I still just make free profit. If it disappears and I get liquidated here, guess what? Don't care. It was just profit. And the funniest part is this was profit of profit, right? This was me compounding that initial profit that I took by putting 10% 100% in. And so it doesn't mean you have to literally just go close down trades, just reduce risk and leverage. That's what I would say. Like reduce risk, reduce leverage slash risk. Like that's what I would do going into September. Okay. The next thing, clean out your junk and low conviction bags. If there's something you don't believe in, you bought it because like an influencer talked about it, but you have no faith in it, sell it. Like just close it. That's my honest opinion. Look, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't guarantee results or returns. Just sell it, I would say. Like in the months of the most volatility is probably when you're going to be freaked out the most with shit that you don't want. So just sell it. Just get rid of it. Okay. I'm sticking to my long-term bags. I only have a few. Like I actually only have a few bags that I'm sticking to that I recently bought. And I think it was maybe 3 or 4, and I have them pulled up, right? So some of the ones that I have high conviction in. For example, you guys know recently added Inspect. Why? Because Inspect has been going absolutely insane. If you go on Inspect's Twitter, every single day they're doing something. They're making some sort of move. They're expanding. They're marketing. They're partnering with people. I mean, it's insane. And this is one of my bigger micro cap bags for a reason. Now, has Inspect's price been just absolutely game changing recently? No, but it's holding up extremely well, especially for a crypto that's less than $25 million in market cap. It's holding up very, very well. And so that's one of those things. It's like one of these ones, like an Inspect. Yeah, I'm cool with it. I'm sticking to it. Constellation Network is a fantastic example of what I'm talking about. I have not seen a company, and we talked about Constellation for the network for the first time like 6 months ago, and I have not seen a company of this size, we're talking sub and 200 million market cap, that has been putting out as much as they have. Recently, Constellation Network achieves MiCAR compliance, which paves the way for broader European market access. So they're absolutely just smashing into the European market right now and opening up more doors of opportunity than most, especially in their field. And they're, of course, the lead, like they're a pioneer of hash graphs. And so because of that, they need to be making this progress, and they are making this progress. For example, 20 hours ago, there was the first official peer-to-peer up transaction here on X between 2 different accounts using, of course, these hash graphs and, of course, using the DAG network. I mean, it's insanity, right? And every single day, they're just doing something. They're always growing. Look at what Ed said. I'm building my entire business on digital evidence and real estate ledger, both powered by the Constellation Network. This is a small company in the grand scheme of things, but they have been absolutely smashing it. So you hear the conviction that I'm speaking with when I'm talking. I'm like, look what they're doing. Look how good they are. You need to have that form of conviction when you look at your bags. And if you don't feel that conviction, it's time to just close them. Like that's the best thing to do, in my opinion. Qubit's another one. Look at Qubit. Qubit is one that you guys know that we bought recently. I mean, look how it's performed over the last month. Really decently. Like really, really, really decently. Especially it's up 43% over the last month. It's still under sub 10 million market cap. And remember, this bad boy ran all the way to $14 million market cap. We talked about this thing at less than 7 million for the very first time. And this is my quantum play. I told you all that I am a big believer that quantum computing is going to impact crypto. So what did I do? I bought some quantum computing crypto, right? And that's Qubit. And look how this bad boy is performing. They're making updates and changes every day, just updating the wallet, improving things, making things better. You need to have these sorts of crypto that are growing, making changes, holding up well. That's what you need. And if that's not what you have, just close it. Stick to your good bags, clean out the junk, get rid of your low conviction bags. Okay. Reconfirm your strategy and make a personal promise to stick to it. So whatever your strategy is, you need to stick to it. For example, let me give you an example. My strategy with Bitcoin has always been the same. And for some reason, I can't find it. There we go. So with Bitcoin, I've always told you what my game plans are. And my current game plan for Bitcoin is to be able to accumulate Bitcoin at macro levels of support, as I expect one of these levels of support to push Bitcoin's price back upwards. And if none of these push it back upwards, I think we'll enter into a bear market or some sort of bearish period. And it's good at the end of the day because these were the best levels to buy at anyway. And so my current strategy with Bitcoin is to buy in this range number 1, range number 2, or zone number 2, and then range number 3 right here. And that's my strategy. That's the only strategy I have with Bitcoin. I'm keeping it very simple. And I've made a promise to myself that no matter what September brings, whether it's scary or whether it's fun, I'm going to stick to it. If Bitcoin just nukes right now straight down to 98K, I ain't getting freaked out. I ain't getting scared. I'm going to stick to my strategy and I'm going to buy some Bitcoin because when you scoop the lows and sell the highs, oftentimes you win. Look at what we've been doing for the last 9 months. Even in the periods where I bought Bitcoin, as its price was falling, I caught the knife, as people love to say, which I hate that term, by the way. Caught the falling knife. Look what happened. If you have conviction and you stick to your strategy, eventually the gains will be made. You know how much ridicule I got when I made a video talking on February 25th? You can go watch it, by the way, saying I'm buying Bitcoin right now and I don't care what you say. And then his price fell another like 10% from there. Dude, everybody, oh my goodness, like this is your technical analyst. He didn't realize that this wasn't support, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, guess what? As it falls more and it hits more support, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy more. Whenever it goes up, I'm gonna laugh at you. And guess what happened? It fell. It found some support. I just bought more, lowered that average all the way down to here. And then guess what? It ran and I locked in a ton of profit. And when I was taking profit, everybody was saying, oh, it's going to run to 150K. Why are you taking profit so early? And here we are, right? So just stick to your strategy. I'm not saying that like I'm better than anyone. I'm just saying that when I stick to my strategy, no matter what emotions I feel, I'm all right. I'm in a good spot. It usually works out. And so you just need to be willing to do the same thing. Make your strategy, stick to it, make a promise that you will stick to it. And lastly, watch very, very closely to what happens with the news and the rumors regarding the Fed. These news and rumors are going to impact this market in stupid ways. It's stupid. Don't get me wrong. It's dumb. We shouldn't have to even pay attention to this. If you're really a traditionalist in the world of Web3, you really shouldn't even care about this, but you need to pay attention to it. Like, that's the truth, right? And watch it closely. Don't trade based off of it, in my opinion. Like, let's just get to the decision. Let's see if they're going to cut rates or not. But do watch them closely because it is going to have a massive impact. And one thing that you can do is you can head over to polymarket.com/dashboards/Fed rates, like you see there. And it's actually going to tell you what people are thinking is going to happen. This is going to tell you what people are thinking is going to happen. The meeting's in 16 days. And so however this changes is really going to have a massive impact on the market. So a lot of people are betting that there's going to be a 25 BPS cut. So yeah, I don't personally think that there is going to be a cut. I don't really see a reason why they would cut rates right now, but I mean, I don't know. You never know. I honestly have no idea. I'm not an economist, but it will be interesting to see nonetheless. And so with that in mind, there is going to be a lot of craziness in September. And I know this is a bit of a longer video, so I'm sorry about that. But I think the month of September is going to be crazy. And yeah, those are my general thoughts. So just to kind of recap, August was the month of the altcoin. Going into September, I'm expecting a lot of volatility. I don't think that September just has to be a bad month because it's always been a bad month, because August was always a good month and then it wasn't a good month, right? So just watch out for it. Know the volatility is coming. And these are the 5 things that I'm doing to prepare for it. Don't forget, if you are trading any cryptos, I have been doing the majority of my trading over on BTCC. As you can see, it is a great platform and the link will be down below. If that interests you, you can go get up to $10,000 in bonuses and lower trading fees. So with that in mind, guys, that's about it for today's video. I'm happy to be back. I'm back home for the next week or so. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying the content while I've been gone. Hopefully you do enjoy it now that I'm back. And I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.